Okay, fellow TIs, I'm currently detoxing, which is why I feel comfortable making this video right now. I believe I mentioned this several times before. Excuse me. Pardon me. Normally when you detox like this, it does. I'm not even joking. Like it does wear you down and it does make you tired because of this nano being on on your nerves and whatnot. And like when I say it's really deep in your body structure, I'm not kidding. Like it really is. We are when we detox like this, we're detoxing this stuff that has been building up into our system since we were children. Okay, since we were kids. That's how far back this stuff is going. Can you imagine just constantly breathing in this crap that they spray out there in the skies all those years? When I showed what was that guy's video, his name escapes me at the moment. But you may have seen it on the first the Mischievous M's channel where this guy had used the anti-nano bucket and you saw the stuff that was coming out of his arm. That, I'm guarantee you that's in everybody's arm, dude. Because of how long we've been poisoned with this stuff. That stuff builds up over time. Now, the situation with staying in the city, like I mentioned before, why it's important to really detox is because TIs do need to gather up so we can have people, fellow TIs to guard fellow TIs who are detoxing. It's the only way to officially get this junk out of your system. Just running in shifts, have people detox, and then they switch up and have the next section of people detox, basically. Because I'm telling you, from what I've dealt with, this is just a simple solution. In the end, it's your choice. It's everybody's choice what they do, but you must be vigilant because they do use manipulation to try to trick you. Just like when I first got here, in Texas, and I believe I did mention this before, I was being hit with these weapons as I was on my travels, heading to Texas, and for some strange reason, the thought of going to I-10 just kept hitting me, and I didn't even know what the heck it was coming from. Like, why the am I going to going down I-10? It didn't make much sense. Um, so I looked at the video. I may have mentioned this before. I looked at the video from what Miss SHP was talking about. There's no mention of an I-10, and I look at the PAX website. No mention of I-10, and this is before I even called anybody who had any connections to there. So I know that didn't come from any of the sources I was running on before. So I'm like, this had to have been manipulation in some way, in some case. So when I figured that out, I would immediately change my course, and I believe it was the Most High watching over me after that, man. I believe that if we had, we're lucky to have anybody in our lives that was looking out for us during these dark times, especially while this stuff was happening, man. We are damn lucky for that. And I'm telling you this because it's quite simple. We were spared from becoming like those workers of iniquity, like those perpetrators in sheep's clothing. No, those wolves in sheep's clothing, basically. We were spared that. So you've all probably saw that last video as you've seen earlier. Again, but this video is not even about that. You could, if you want to see it again, you could just watch that quite easily if you wanted to. I'm not even gonna dive into that. That's a situation that long since happened and long since passed. But it's similar situations like that. The dude was just hired to just abuse the situations and to basically come up with a lie. You want to know why they didn't want me laying down though? And it's because they were having trouble calibrating their weapons because of that. My head was practically being surrounded by a seat that was made out of plastic. So that plastic seating kind of acted like some sort of type of shielding is what I'm guessing that's what it had to been because I had gotten some sleep, and usually they don't let you get any sleep at all. So it was the same. It was it was the same amount of manipulation from left and right. The same crap that they normally do. But get this, my audio recorder caught all of that. everything that they have done, anything that they have said or may have done, all of that was caught on the audio recorder. I got way more proof on there than I do on the camera glasses. That's just a little bit of the stuff you've seen on the camera glasses, but I got way more evidence on the audio recorder. So, back on time to get back on topic. TI's, I'm telling you, if you stay in the city, if you ever, and you know you're gonna have to leave your home at some point, these perpetrators, and yes, and I even said it as it is, the freaking the people who were running the building were no different. Whenever I was leaving, most likely they were late relacing my apartment while I was gone. So that's what kept me poisoned with that crap that they were constantly trying to get me infected with, such as the fungus. I've even gone as far as even catching one of these guys in the midst of what they were doing, and I called him out on this bullshit. He tried to play it off, but I'm like, dude, I'm not. I have not just. I cannot see what I cannot unsee what I have seen. I caught the guy red-handed lacing a damn doorknob, and they've done people. They would do this shit in public. They've done it. They just walked right out, immediately rubbed their hands all over the doorknob, then walked it off as if they didn't do anything, as if it never even happened. You go ahead and try questioning them about it, and guess what's going to happen? Oh no, you're insane. You don't know what you're talking about. It's not that I don't. It's not that we don't know what we're talking about. It's just that they don't want to own up to their shit because they just don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to get in trouble, and they don't want to answer for what they've done. Hence why they try to use some, TIs as scapegoats. Hence why they got to use TIs as scapegoats considering what they've done to people. These sociopaths need somebody to fuck with, don't they? Because otherwise, they're gonna just, they're gonna turn on one another, which I'm pretty certain has already happened from time to time. But yeah, man, like if you look into detox, I'm telling you, your best methods is to, at least get out of the city. Because I'm telling you, like if you hadn't noticed, it most likely both the attacks and the gang stalking have gotten worse, a lot worse. I'm pretty certain a lot of TIs have noticed that. And I'm only saying this for people's safety, man, just so you can basically detox this stuff, because you need to basically, what I want to do, I want to take one day, sit myself in this in a detox bucket or something like that, do that for around 10 hours. Now, the problem with this is it's going to leave me very exhausted, very worn out. But after resting up afterwards, I'm going to have a whole lot more strength than I wasn't able to use before. That's my warning to TIs. If you ever build yourself an anti-nano bucket, that's definitely going to, wear you down after its use. It's really going to wear you down because of it pulling that stuff out of your system. That stuff is it, it's in spots that would definitely leave you worn down. This is why even the I may have made the anti-nano barrel, but like that started getting a bit dangerous because of when me having to get out, and I'm so worn down. I needed to shower off, but dude, I was so out of strength I couldn't do it. I just toweled off, which I shouldn't have done, because when you do that, you got to really rinse yourself off, because some of this stuff, because of it being like fibers, some of it like you need some type of loofah sponge to basically deal with this stuff, to really scratch this stuff off. You don't want to use nothing plastic. It's best just to use something that comes directly from a plant. And if you didn't know, yes, loofah rolls do come from a plant. um But yeah, man, that's the way to do it. You got to detox yourself, especially in times like this, because of what they're planning. And if you don't know about the vaccinations, yeah, here's the deal. Let's look back at the situation with Monsanto, right? Monsanto, and I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again because people need to understand this. Monsanto has patents on the gene code of their plant systems, right? Of their genetically modified crops. People didn't realize until later on that apparently this stuff can send their gene code through the ecosystem, through the air travel, right through the airwaves. This stuff gets into, brushes up against the plants, gets into the water systems, gets into the soil, and then eventually it starts to affect those other plants that are, non-GMO, turning them into GMO plants. And people intentionally did that shit. You know damn well they sent some people out there to do that. Now here's the big problem with this. This has gotten to they've started going into like this legal matter system with the stuff, right? And it's gotten so bad that these farmers overseas have gone bankrupt so badly that they actually had to commit suicide to prevent their children from taking up the depth of their father, of who was originally running that stuff. It has caused massive suicides because of that mess, all for the greed of money. Now, again, remember, the patent code, they have ownership on that. Now, instead of it being through GMO, genetically modified crops, think of it as a vaccination, something that they have patent. Think about it. The patent that they have ownership of. So what happens when you inject the shit inside of a person's body? The patent and the gene code was in their plants, in Monsanto's plants, and in those other people plants, and how they were able to legally claim ownership of that and sue the fuck out of those guys, even though the whole damn thing was rigged. Think of that same scenario, but with vaccinations instead of plants, but with vaccinations in humans. That's how bad it is. People don't get those damn tests because it's filled with partially the same shit as what the vaccinations is going to have. All of it has the same stuff. All of it does. They're trying to basically own people as slaves, which is fucked up because the system is rigged. It's complete. It's a complete joke. It's a complete freaking joke. It's not even there to serve the people. It's there to serve these rich assholes. And even those people are turning in on their own too. They're turning against each other. Why? Because there's a massive power struggle going on. There's a huge fight over who wants ownership of this or who wants ownership of that. It's some serious greedy assholes out there, man, and they don't give two fucks about who is dying, who's losing their livelihoods, who's getting hurt. They don't give a damn about that, and they don't care if people losing their sanity and having their own will basically being fucked with these directed energy weapons that they've been using on humanity for years. People are so damn scared of this stuff that they don't even talk about it as often. And it's very unfair for target individuals because, well, it must be discussed. The situation must be exposed. This whole thing is nothing more than a system that is bent on control for other people to remain blind and asleep. The target individual is a person who is awake, who sees beyond the matrix and what's going on. We all see what's happening. I watched Brian too when he was talking about the camera glasses. I don't know why the hell he spent that much money on those things on several pairs, but the ones I got did not cost nowhere near that amount. That's just insane that they would even charge that much. And I don't know, maybe they ripped them off. Maybe they did, because I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But the ones I got, dude, they were all under $100. Every single pair. They were no more than what, like 50, maybe 30 something dollars. That was about, maybe 40 or $50. I can't imagine, maybe if you buy several pairs at once, they would rack up that much money, but like that much money for what, like just 5 pairs of glasses? Unless he's talking about some other equipment that's also relates to the situation, then I understand. But dude, there's no peace in the cities, man. Not for any TI. That's just how it is. This is coming from somebody who's experienced this. I may not have experienced this as long as other TIs out there, but I've seen and analyzed enough scenario situations to know that if you live in a home, I'm telling you, whoever has keys to your living quarters, they're gonna let those assholes in there, and they're gonna lace whatever they're gonna lace, and it's gonna keep you connected to this damn system. You cannot trust living in the city anymore, especially like times like this, because they want to keep people entrapped in the damn cities. That's the whole reason why I got out of there in the first place. I want to really believe in this whole Niles Melzer situation, but you got to understand, dude, the amount of deceptive information that's out there. Excuse me. The amount of control that exists. I'm all for exposing this organization to the light of day, letting people know exactly what's going on and shit like that. I'm all for it. But I don't trust the damn court systems, and I don't trust the damn government, and I especially don't trust the UN. There may be people within these positions who are against this, but think about who put those perpetrators up to this shit in the first place. Imagine how much manpower and how much resources they have. Really look outside the box on this. Because I'm telling you, the situation, chaos don't wait for nobody. Okay, these instigators of chaos, these perpetrators of iniquity, these bastard people who do this, and they're doing this out of either fear, and they're doing this out of greed, and they're doing this because they're comfortable with this type of behavior. They're comfortable with fucking with people, but they hate it when they're the ones being effed with. And I proved this when I turned the tables on a narcissist for the first time, and I'm like, dude, let's look at this from a logical perspective. You are fucking with people 24/7, and as soon as somebody fucks with you, you're pissed. I don't know. I can't understand why anybody would want to be around a person like that at all. I don't. I just don't see it. I just can't understand it. Like, it makes no sense. That that's a very toxic person. Very toxic indeed. Cause and I'm talking about the type of person who would talk trash about you, who would disrespect you, who basically come off as a complete, passive asshole. Now, that I'm not talking about that guy in the last video. That's in case you wondered. No, I'm talking about somebody completely different person. Um, but as you've seen, that video is a prime example of an attempt of manipulation, and I wasn't having it. I didn't respond in the way the guy wanted me to, because he was hoping for me to basically escalate, get mad, start to curse. I didn't do it, and it started pissing him off because, like, these types of people have no patience. They don't have patience, and they can't sit there and keep doing it, because then it comes off as then it officially becomes harassment from them to me. So they don't want that, especially if they're being recorded and it's all being documented. Because the longer they spend messing around like that, the more it's gonna come back on them. So they have, they know when to back off, and they know when to engage. That's just the scenario situation like that. They do use doppelganger tactics when it comes to this criminalized organization. They have gone real desperate, though. They really have. They've done some of the most dumbest things I can honestly think of. But as a result, you got to know exactly how to deal with the situation. If you watched that last video that I uploaded, you would have noticed immediately when I completely went silent. I cut him off at that point, because at that point I've already stated my situation, and I had already told him that I wasn't comfortable with his presence. At that point, anything he done or said was on him at that point, and I didn't say anything else afterwards. So that's a line of defense. Remember, but here's the deal though. Despite the fact of how I handled that situation, you must never You must never, and I do mean never, ever, ever, respond to these perpetrators because that's all a part of the damn mind control technology. All of it is. You have to ignore them. And I'm telling you, like the situation that I talked about before with the guy who parked his car on the other side of the damn street in front of the damn sidewalk while it was hauling that lumber, and he went all the way across the street to a damn near empty parking lot at this gas station, or it was a gas station or a pharmacy. That dude went out of his way to make sure I saw that damn car and him. Now I ask you, does that make any damn sense? Who parks across the street in the middle of a sidewalk that just happened to be coming down in the colored car too? Now he was in the colors all the way across the street. I'm looking at the parking lot. There's barely any cars there. People, because of the weight of those boards, I had to really pay attention to what I was doing. That's how I was ignoring them, how I was breaking free from their whole manipulation, because it was starting to become ineffective at that point. That's why they had to really get desperate. You get out of the city, you get away from most of them gang stalkers. You get yourself in a position of of an area that they can't trespass on. They show up. Well, hey, that's their ass right there. First off, I don't give a fuck who you are. If you don't live on that property, and it's out in the middle of nowhere too, you show up on that property in the middle of the night or any other time, right? Because farmers don't let a farmer catch your ass on they yard and somewhere in the middle of the night, in the middle of the morning, right? Don't let them catch you doing that because they oh no. So think about it from that perspective. No one's gonna be that stupid to make that mistake. And you would be well within your rights to defend yourself because you don't know who the heck that person is or what their intentions are. You don't know. Now, it's not, you gotta find humor in almost anything nowadays, especially now with as much crap is going on. There's so much corruption, they're trying to change the damn Bible and put a lot of strange things in there, stuff that's related to military, like salutes. They're trying to lower the age of consent when it comes to relations. And if that ain't bad enough, and I've already been called this shit out for before it happened, because the whole adrenochrome thing, a lot of people don't know about that. Understand that if you at all help out an organization that's doing this, you need to understand what exactly they're doing. And the stuff they've been doing is completely horrible. This is why they've been trying to basically convert people into whatever the heck they want them to be in. I refuse. I refuse all of it. I know my will rejects all of this crap that's going on, even if and I believe every other TI is on the same page. But the problem is, some are so far some have been, played by the deception so badly that they're too far gone. Whatever family I got left, dude, I don't even know whether some of them are being targeted themselves or if they just joined in with the system. You need to understand when you join this organization that does this to people, you have sold your soul to Satan. God hates the workers of iniquity. If you are a believer in the Most High God, why the hell would you join in with the damn workers of iniquity? That's complete backwards. And you can't sit there and join them and then beg for forgiveness. It don't work that way. No, that is not how it works. The moment you make that one mistake in joining them, the moment you make that decision, you cut yourself off. Because that's I know we all make mistakes in our lives, you know. I believe the Most High does expect that, but not to ever join the people responsible for putting all of this crap out there that has been responsible for basically corrupting people. And you know, I think I really started waking up because I started questioning some stuff, you know, like and I started looking at like, okay, we got all these problems, all of these crimes that are happening. Why the hell are we exposing people to this crap at a younger age? That's what I wanted to know. Because like, why? The only way to to stop it is to immediately keep the information of it, of what's going on, basically separate from impressionable young minds, and then just immediately, completely separate the two things. Deal with the current problem as it is until it's completely done and these crimes are no longer being committed, and then let the generation continue on. And when I started questioning that, that's when a whole lot of weird shit started happening. And I believe I figured it out that they are intentionally putting stuff out there, as far as stuff, any type of thing related to crime, anything related to sexualization of any type, really, and other things purposely for the whole sake of programming people. People, listen, a person cannot commit said act if they're not aware of the act's existence. If they never knew about it, how could it ever happen? But of course, with the manipulation, that's a whole different story. It's a very complicated situation. But I believe all these crimes that are being committed today, and since the past too, have all been orchestrated crimes through this manipulation. It's hard to tell really who's bad and who's good, because in the end, everybody's being beamed with frequencies. Damn near everybody owns a freaking cell phone. It could be someone do a completely atrocious crime, but how do we not know if that person's being controlled? How do we not know that that person really is in control of their actual self, or is that someone else who is like that, using these directed energy weapons for the sake of basically controlling somebody, perpetuating these acts through that person, so that that person basically becomes in trouble over the fact that their own will was basically being manipulated against their own will, against their own choice. They didn't even have a say. Someone just immediately decided to basically beam them with frequencies and control the fuck out of them and get them to do all kinds of ill stuff. What happens as a result? Oh, the population turns on the person who actually is the victim. They don't believe them, and they call them out, saying, "No, you're horrible," this, that, and the other thing. But in reality, the person who's mainly responsible for this act is still walking amongst them, or walking somewhere on the outskirts of the area, scot free, completely free of all the crap that they've done. So unless people really understand the concepts of this madness that's going on, I don't know what else to say, because the situation is very deceptive. It's very deceptive. I'm telling you, any of these perpetrators who show up to anybody who's not aware of this organization, don't accept their damn money and don't ever buy into their bullshit, because they are going after everybody. Even if they're sparing you some time, dude, they're going after everybody. They're going after people's kids and the elderly, especially the elderly, because that's already been kicked off. They say one thing, but they actually mean another. Some people just join this organization out of fear, but I'm telling you, it's your own fear that's bringing about your own undoing. I think I'm in this video here. Let's see, what time is it? It's like 12:02. I still got to stay in this stupid thing for about a good 3 more hours, then I'll be able to get out of it. Usually, I would detox for like no more than just a few minutes. Last time I tried for 40 minutes in this thing, and actually I could feel a lot of the stuff started to shift out of my system. So it definitely does wonders. The longer you stay in it, the more detoxing you'll be able to, a lot of the stuff you'll be able to detox. And inevitably, it's going to cut it off entirely. And, that's the whole point. There's a whole lot more other things I want to build, but, I don't currently have the materials to do so. I really wanted to make that Rife turntable, but that's going to take a while before I'm even ready to do that. As well as some other gadgets I wanted to try out. But anyway, I'm going to end this video here. I'm sending both my love and my prayers out to everybody. And remember, to people who are recently tuning into this channel, understand that the situations that are going on are very, very deceptive. And you cannot judge a scenario as it once was anymore. Not like you used to be able to. It's far different from that. Far different. To everybody, as always, stay safe, stay strong.